Hello out there, you wonderful people. This is Andre the Game I Dig. I thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear listening into another Gamer's Thoughts discussion. And I didn't think that I would actually be talking about a publication when it comes down to this, but Screenrant. Do you guys know how generations are determined? Because I just want to know. Do you guys know how generations are determined? Do you need someone who is in a lesser position to sit here and explain it to you? Because apparently you guys are either one, incapable of doing the work yourselves and figuring out how the generations work, or two, you're just following what everybody else says is a trend. And I guess that would be what you do because, I mean, you guys are a Screenrant and that's kind of how you make your bread and butter. So that would make sense. But, I mean, why is it that we have to put out false information? Like, seriously, why follow false information? Like, if you want to be sort of like a news source and report on things, why false information? And I think this came from a guy's, a discussion. A guy was talking about how he canceled his Switch OLED pre-order. Good on you. That's not my problem. You can do what you want with your money. But information, my friend, information. And this is back to calling the Switch an 8th gen console. Now, let's forget the fact that Nintendo said it was their next generation platform, their next generation hardware, the successor to the Wii U, which was their 8th generation offering for home console, as well as them not really stating the fact that it was also the successor to the 3DS, which was their 8th generation offering for handheld. Because of its hybrid nature, it covers both instances. And I think when people talk about it being 8th gen, they are completely excluding the fact that it was supposed to be the successor to the Wii U and the 3DS. And the 3DS, hardware-wise, was far inferior to the Switch. Now, the Wii U isn't far inferior, but it is still inferior to the Switch as far as the hardware goes. So, I've done enough discussions on this. The only reason I'm even addressing it now is because it came from Screenrant. And Screenrant is a large publication, which a bunch of people at this point, even if they understand that Screenrant has some very bad takes, and I mean horrible takes. If you've seen any of their tier listings or their discussions of what characters are stronger than what other characters in anime, or 15 reasons Goku was a bad father or something like that, and it's just like the stuff that they talk about didn't make any sense when you actually put it to task. I'm like, okay, you guys really don't know what you're talking about half the time. Like, I don't even know how you got to be so big. Maybe at one point they were, well versed in the subjects that they covered. But right now, they're not. They're most definitely not. Now, and I think one of the reasons they said they were dropping the Switch OLED purchase was because of it being an 8th gen platform or something like that. Look, I didn't fully read everything in that article, I will admit. I started reading it and I kind of got a little along the way. But it's like, that's one of the things that sticks out to me. It's like, how can y'all have such bad takes on everything? You have to have a good take on something. Something. Like, be right on something. Come on. And yes, and I know there are plenty of people who are going to run with the Switch is the 8th gen console, but like if you say that, you are automatically giving the win from the 8th generation to Nintendo. You guys do know that. And people want to say the PS4 won the generation. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways, saying that Sony won that generation and that Nintendo's also, the Switch is also 8th gen. You can't. It's just not doable. Because on top of all of the sales of the 3DS, now you have all of the sales of the Switch and the sales of the Wii U. That would clearly overshadow the PS4 and the Vita. Now, if you leave it, I think Sony did legitimately win this generation, the 8th generation, over time. With the large number of PS4 sales and then the short number of Vita sales. I mean, again, I'm just saying. Like, you can't have it both ways, people. It don't work both ways. That said, also, since when has generation been determined by the hardware itself and not by the passage of time? And people always will say, well, this hardware is massively better than that hardware, so that indicates a leap in generation. No, not really. Not really at all. Like, it's never how it's been. It's always been that time has dedicated a generation. Decided a generation, not dedicated. And again, this is one of those things that's immutable. Because, like, and I've made this point to people trying to be fanboys about it, but PC hardware changes every generation. Some hardware is weaker than other hardware of the same brand. But that is still a separate, newer generation. The hardware works more efficiently. There's more things you can do with less. That's the same situation as it is here. And I try to make that argument, well, what's it selling alongside? Okay, don't the 10th gen, I think they're on their 10th generation. Don't 10th gen CPUs sell alongside 9th and 8th and 7th generation CPUs? And they're all still legitimately on the market at the same time. But we don't want to apples to apples this. We want to apples to oranges it for some reason. Like, and that is a like comparison when it comes down to hardware. But either way, the Switch itself is a damn 9th gen console. It is both a home console as well as a handheld console. So it covers 2 of the 3 pillars Nintendo needed covered, and mobile covers the 3rd. There you have it, folks. Now, if you're disappointed in the Switch's hardware, whatever, fine with that. I don't care. That's your prerogative. But if you want the games that are on the Switch, and I mean specifically on the Switch, you need a Switch. Simple as that. Otherwise, you are actually pirating, which will be illegal. So, and in order for people to ROM dump Switch games, you actually have to own the Switch. So one way or the other, you need to own the Switch. In the current climate for Switch emulation, in order to legally run Switch games on, like, Yuzu, you need to be able to ROM dump from the Switch. So, just putting that out there for everybody. Because you have to be able to connect your Switch to your computer to dump the ROMs. And people, please don't follow. Don't listen to Screenrant. Don't. Don't. There's very few articles that come out. I'm just change that. There's very few editorials or blogs that come out from them that are actually accurate anymore. So, just saying, don't listen to Screenrant. Because I just, nope, it just don't make sense. Don't make sense to listen to them when their takes are this horrible. But, that's it for me. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out, and everybody give your own opinions.